Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about the Bob's Burgers movie. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. This is obviously based off of the Bob's Burgers TV show, the animated comedy on Fox, which has been going on for over a decade now. And I know the show is popular. I mean, granted, it's not as popular as like other similar shows that are cut from the same cloth, like a Simpsons or Family Guy, but it has its fans. It has an audience. You can definitely say that. And so, a decent amount of that TV audience is going to want to see this on the big screen. It's a bit of an event for them. So, yeah, I consider that a pro, brand name recognition. The show is relatively popular, has a fan base, so naturally a decent amount of that fan base will show up to see the movie. And it also helps that the movie looks much better than the TV show. It should. I mean, it's obvious the budget, it got a big boost in budget. Because if the movie looked exactly the same as the show, then what's the point of watching it on the big screen? So there has to be an upgrade in like visuals and everything. And that seems to be the case here. So yeah, the fact that it's based off of a well-known show, pro. That's pro number one. Pro number two, reviews, very good. Last I checked, it's like at 86%. How am I going to complain about that? And its audience score is also very good. So word of mouth is definitely not an issue here when it comes to like reviews and public opinion. So that's a pro. Another pro is that when it comes to direct competition, there really isn't anything. Sure, there's Top Gun Maverick, which is guaranteed to decimate everything this weekend. But I don't know if the audience for this and the audience for Top Gun Maverick really overlaps all that much. I don't think they share too much of the same audience. But when it comes to similar movies, there's none. This is kind of like the only movie of its kind right now. So at least there's no like super direct competition. So obviously there's competition coming up down the line, but when it comes to like anything like direct, there really isn't any. So that's a pro. Another pro, it's preview numbers. They're good. There are 1.5 million in previews. I mean, that's decent enough. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's okay. It's all right. It's not an embarrassment. It's not going to tank. I can tell you that. So, at least just shows that some people are actually watching the movie, or at least they're watching the movie when all the Top Gun Maverick screenings are like sold out. This is a really your only option. I mean, sure, there's Doctor Strange 2, it's Down Abbey 2, a bunch of April movies, but they're all old at this point. So if you can't watch Top Gun Maverick because of sold out shows, you can watch this instead. So it has that advantage. But yes, preview numbers are decent, so that's a pro. Uh, I guess this is both a pro and a con. It's like the type of movie this is. It's not your typical TV adaptation movie where some like say Down Abbey 2. That's based on live action TV. This is off of a cartoon series, the animated show. And the thing is, a lot of these adaptations usually go the live action route. This doesn't. This sticks with the source material. It sticks with the original style. And there are not too many movies like that, but I can find some that I definitely know of. It's not an overwhelming amount, but there's quite a few. I think the most obvious is the Simpsons movie from 15 years ago. That's a very obvious one. There's that. The SpongeBob movie from 2004. Gotta find it though. Yeah, that. Let's see. Anything else I can think of off the top of my head? Ooh, I think some people forgot about this, but I didn't. The Teen Titans Go to the movies. That's perfect. So these are like the main ones that immediately come to mind. The Simpsons movie is the most direct comparison, considering both of these shows are kind of cut from the same cloth. There's quite a few shows. They all kind of follow the same somewhat formula of like you got the husband, the wife, a few kids, usually three. I mean, there's Simpsons, there's Family Guy, there's American Dad, Bob's Burgers. Those are like the main ones. There's too many of them out there. Those are like the primary ones. But yeah, the Simpsons movie came out 2007. Obviously, everyone knows what the Simpsons is. Everyone on planet Earth knows what the Simpsons is at this point. And obviously, with the movie, it came out a good like 20 years after this series first started. Sure, it was off its peak by 2007, but it still had enough of an audience to make an impact. Had big promotion from Fox. They hyped the hell out of this movie. They made it an event, and an event it was, because it opened with 74 million back July 2007. And a fun fact, it had the third biggest opening of all time for an animated movie at that point. The only two movies that did better were Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third. Crazy, right? And the movie made $500 million worldwide. That's definitely not going to happen with Bob's Burgers, the movie, because while everyone knows what The Simpsons is, Bob's Burgers is a lot more niche in comparison. So it definitely won't reach those numbers. But there's also SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie, the first movie, and I don't think it'll reach these numbers either because obviously SpongeBob is like everyone knows what SpongeBob is. Also had quite a bit of hype, quite a bit of attention, and it worked out. Made like 142 million worldwide. But then again, everyone knows what SpongeBob is. Bob's Burgers is more niche in comparison, so still not a great comparison. Now, Teen Titans Go to the movies. This is a bit more reasonable. It's more recent. Whereas based off, well, this was like a reboot of like the classic Teen Titans cartoon. Had this one being pretty infamous, but it had a movie and it did okay-ish. But yeah, I mean, with these cartoon adaptation movies, they can go several different ways. You can be a Simpsons movie or a SpongeBob movie. Oh, there's another one I forgot to mention. The Powerpuff Girls movie. This is like the bad. This is the bad. This is like the bad ending. Like the Powerpuff Girls movie tanked hard. That was despite the popularity of the show. Like that flopped. The Hey Arnold movie flopped. While Thornberry's movie did meh. The first two Rugrats movies did good. The third one didn't. So yeah, it's a real mixed bag with this genre, this very particular genre. And you know what? Something I really need to ask is the South Park movie? How can I forget about that? That did pretty good. But yeah, it's a real mixed bag with these type of movies. I guess there was that My Little Pony movie from 2017. I guess there's more of these than I thought. But that only did meh. So yeah, real mixed bag with this genre. And there's just one question I need to ask is why did a Family Guy movie not exist? Really weird, right? I mean, you think they would make one. Apparently it was in development, but it never went anywhere. I mean, Seth MacFarlane would soon make movies like Ted and Ted 2 and A Million Ways to Die in the West, if anybody remembers that. But yeah, but point is, these cartoon adaptation movies, sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. You never know if the fans are going to really show up. So, yeah, the whole genre is a mixed bag. And it's still hard to say which side this movie's going to fall on when it comes to these movies. Okay, cons. big con is Top Gun Maverick this weekend. Now, obviously, this movie is being like counter programming to that. The thing is, Top Gun Maverick, it's become the type of movie that just destroys everything in its path, which is something I didn't really expect, but that's what's happening right now. And the Bob's Burgers movie might suffer a little bit because of that. But it seems like it's doing okay now. But still, Top Gun Maverick, that's gonna just eat all the attention and competition and everything this weekend. And this just kind of exists. So yeah, that's a problem. But it's not just Top Gun Maverick. It's competition coming up later on. There's Jurassic World Dominion in 2 weeks. There's Lightyear a week after that. Those two movies are poised to print money. So that's not going to help this movie at all. So yeah, just say competition now and competition coming up. It's not going to be great for this movie. So I mean, next week there's not really nothing. So you should be able to survive 1 week. But yeah, that's a con. Just competition, big money competition coming up. That's a problem. So that's con number one. Con number two for this movie. I already mentioned how comparably niche this show is in comparison to like The Simpsons or SpongeBob. Well, I already mentioned it with like the whole genre, but yeah, like you never know when these fans show up. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's very random. and and obviously when a movie's based off like a property like this, it's gonna be front loaded, at least a tad bit front loaded. Because that's just how it is. I mean, Simpsons movie was front loaded, SpongeBob movie was front loaded, and I feel like the same's gonna apply to this. So that's not great. So I don't think its legs are going to be too good. At least not. Maybe this weekend it'll be fine because it is a holiday weekend. And I forgot to mention that for pros, it's Memorial Day weekend. I mean, sure, Memorial Day has seen better days, but history of Memorial Day, we've had a lot of big movies come out. Will this be a part of them? Absolutely not. But the holiday weekend, that 4 day weekend, will help it out. It'll make it less front loaded. So it's got that going for it. But uh yeah, it'll still be a little front loaded because again, that fan base is definitely going to show up for that first day and then it's just going to peter out after that. That's what usually happens. So yeah, it's being front loaded, that's going to be a con. Uh is there anything else? I mean, some would argue with a movie like this, like it doesn't feel as much of an event as the Simpsons movie. Like it feels like it's the type of movie where you're just like, do I want to see this in theaters or could I just wait to see it like on Hulu or something later down the line? And yeah, that could be a problem here. Some people might just rather watch this on Hulu than pay money to see it on the big screen, even with the visual upgrade and the bigger scale and everything. So, yeah, that could be a problem. So that's a con. Another con is, I mean, the advertising campaign. It's definitely there. It's not like it doesn't exist, but I don't feel like they're pushing it as hard as they should. Granted, competition is rough right now. You're going up against the monster that is Top Gun Maverick, but you feel like they would push it a little more. Disney Fox would push it a little more. So that's a bit of a con. Now I might as well mention Disney Fox. Well, Disney 20th Century Studios. So this is a part of that. They've had a history of failure. So let's go through that real quick. Uh, blah blah blah. Trying to find. Okay, here's the list. Well, not the whole list. This doesn't include all their 2019 movies. Dark Phoenix, Ford v Ferrari, Ad Astra. Lots of just disasters in there. But this is all from like 2020 and beyond. Like Call of the Wild, that was a bomb. That was partially affected by COVID. But everything else, oof. The Empty Man, Last Duel, Ron's Gone Wrong, New Mutants, The King's Man, West Side Story, Death on the Nile. All bombs. The only success story is Free Guy. So that's not great. I don't think Bob's Burgers the movie will be in the bomb category. Depends on how expensive it is. I don't think it's too expensive. It'll likely avoid bomb territory, but I don't think it's gonna do great either. But yeah, this track record is really not good. It sets a bad precedent for this movie. So yeah, that's a con. But yeah, I think that's it. So opening weekend, I gotta do two. I gotta do 3 day and 4 day because again, it's a holiday weekend. So 3 day, I think it will be in the range of 10 million to 15 million for the 3 day weekend, and then for the 4 day, it'll be between maybe 15 to 20. That's where I see it, and then it's total. Hmm. Depends. Maybe 30 to 40. I see it hitting that. It could do better, but it could do worse. But that's what I'm sticking with. 30 to 40 total, which I guess will be fine. Depending on its budget. But yeah, that's where I see it landing. So yeah, that's the Bob's Burgers movie. Now I have one more movie to cover this weekend. The movie that everyone's watching. That movie being Top Gun Maverick. That we got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. And then that'll be it for the weekend and for the month of May. I think I'll do Watcher next week. I don't know for sure. Maybe not. If I don't, then I won't be doing this again until Jurassic World Dominion comes out. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's what's looking like right now. But anywho, yeah, that's it. Yep, stay tuned for those videos. But anywho, yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage with all previous prediction videos I made this year. I've literally covered like no animated movies this year. There's The Bad Guys, and that's it. Is that it? That's it. If things were different, I would have covered Turning Red, but obviously didn't happen. So, if you want to watch my prediction video on that, you can go right ahead. Or any of the others I've done this year, go right ahead and do that. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I just did an episode about Indiana Jones 5 and some other movies no one really cares about. That's episode 128. When it comes to the Bob's Burgers movie, I covered it twice. When it comes to this series, I think the first time was like episode 36, and the second time was in the 80s, I think. I don't remember. I talked about that, Marvel, and The Little Mermaid. So if you find that thumbnail, that's where I talk about the Bob's Burgers movie. So I covered it twice. So you want to watch those episodes or any of the other ones I've done, all 128 up to this point, you can go right ahead, binge them, watch them in chronological order. I encourage you to do that. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. May recap will come out next week. Won't be a super long video because literally 7 movies came out that whole month. And really, there's only 2 worth going to like a deep dive into, those movies being Doctor Strange 2 and Top Gun Maverick. So yeah. Stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.